everybody, it's that time again. It's December and the new year is almost here. And if you're like me, you're probably going to take some time between now and the month of January, if you have not already done so, and to reflect on the past 11 or 12 months and to reassess yourself, to reevaluate your life and your goals, and perhaps even set some new goals. But with that being said, do you know what the number one goal or New Year's resolution is for most people? You might already know, because this may be one of the goals that's on your list too. That's right. It's the goal to lose weight. And that's a good goal, right? I think it's a pretty good goal, especially if we have excess weight and baggage that we're carrying around and that we'd like to get rid of. But I want to encourage you to think of a loftier goal than even that of losing weight. And this goal that I'm going to be sharing with you today, it also includes losing weight, but so much more than that. And let me say this. One of the things that I have noticed is that more than ever, so many of us are suffering with sickness, disease, and all kinds of ailments that are literally affecting our ability to function and just cope with life on a daily basis. And if what I just said to you resonates with you in any kind of a way, then you know what I'm talking about. You wake up feeling blah, you go to bed feeling blah, and just all throughout the day you're just blah. You lack energy, you're lethargic, and you just don't have the stamina and endurance that it takes to accomplish even the little menial tasks that you know you need to accomplish on a given day. You have no joy, no peace, and what's worse is you don't even have the motivation or the wherewithal to pick yourself up and to do something about your situation. And so you know something is wrong, but you haven't quite been able to figure out what it is. And so you don't know how to address your circumstance. You don't even know where to start. And so that is where this goal that I'm going to be sharing with you today comes into play. You see, this is not just a goal. I would like for you to think of it as a gift. In fact, it's a beautiful gift that once I embrace, it has helped to transform my life. And so that is why I'm so excited to be sharing this goal with you today. In fact, this goal or gift, because it's really a beautiful gift, this gift is a message. It's a message of hope that promotes overall good health and well-being. And losing weight is just a small aspect of the numerous benefits of this message. And just think about it. When you and I or anyone decides to, for example, go on a diet or to lose weight, what is our focus on? Our focus is on our bodies, right? Our focus is on the physical. And yet there is so much more to us than just our physical bodies. I mean, think about it. There's the emotional and mental aspect to us. And then what about the social and the spiritual? These are all things that we need to consider in terms of having overall good health, right? But you see, this is how most of us have been taught. You know, we're taught to compartmentalize every aspect of our being. For example, they say, oh, you know what? She has a physical ailment in her bodies. Well, let's call the medical doctor. And then you got to shell out money for that. And then they say, oh, wait a minute. No. She has an emotional or mental issue. Well, then they want to send you to the psychologist or the psychiatrist. And then they're going to make some money off of you for that. And then they say, oh, wait a minute. She doesn't seem to have good social skills. So let's put her in her class because she is socially inept. And then you got to pay some more money for that. And then they're like, wait, no. Her issue is spiritual. So then, well, hey, let's call out the pastor or let's send her on a spiritual retreat. And then you got to shell out more money for that. And so what I'm trying to say is I understand that most of our issues are spiritual. But I just want for us to think about how it is when Jesus or when God heals us. God heals us. When he heals us, he deals with the whole being, okay? And that's what this message is about. It's about dealing with you as a whole person. And it's going to address all of those areas of your life. That's why it's such a beautiful message. Now, some of you may know of this message as the 8 laws of health. Others of you may have heard of it as the 8 doctors, and still someone else may know of it as New Start, or it's also called God's health plan. Okay, because these principles that I'm going to share with you are 8 simple steps, and they are based upon principles of the Bible. And that's what makes it so beautiful, because God is involved. You see, God is concerned about every aspect of you. He's concerned, okay, about your needs and your desire to lose weight. He's also concerned about your mental and emotional health. He's concerned about you socially, about you physically, about you just as a total person. So these 8 simple steps, if you choose to embrace them and put them on your list, okay, for the new year, I know that you will be blessed. Okay, so I want to make this as easy for you as possible, okay? So we're going to take the word New Start. That's what we're going to call this, New Start. And that's how you're going to be able to remember these 8 principles. New Start is going to be the acronym, okay, in order for you to remember these 8 principles, okay? So let's start with the letter N in New Start. N is for nutrition, okay? So with that being said, we know that it's important for us to have proper and good nutrition. It's important for us to be concerned about everything that we eat, everything that we put into our mouths, because that is what's going to give us fuel and energy to sustain us in a given day, okay? And we're going to talk more about this more in depth and in detail in the next segment that I do, okay? The next letter in New Start is E. E is for exercise, okay? And the benefits of exercise are just too numerous to name them all right now because I'm running out of time. But we know that exercise is so important because, yes, it helps us to lose weight. It helps us to maintain adequate body weight. Also, it helps to flush toxins out of our bodies. It helps to lessen our chances of disease because it boosts the immune system. It also helps us to manage stress well. Moving on, W is for water. Water is great because our bodies are made up of mostly water. Did you know that? That just blew my mind when I found that out. Now, the amount. We all should be drinking at least half of our body weight in ounces of water per day. So, let's say if you are 140 pounds, you need to be taking 70 ounces of water per day. Next, sunlight. We all need adequate sunlight. Sunlight is so important, okay, for healthy living, because getting out in the sunlight is going to promote healthy cell growth. It also is good for building and producing vitamin D in our bodies, and we need vitamin D to have healthy bones and teeth. Also, sunlight produces serotonin in our brain, and that gives us that happy feeling. So, you know, sometimes people are depressed. They're going through depression. All they need to do is get out and get the proper amount of sunlight every day, and that would help to lower their or decrease their depression. And eventually, with all the other principles, you can overcome depression by just taking care of yourself and your body based upon these 8 simple principles. Now listen, the amount of sunlight that we all should get every day is going to vary depending upon your complexion. If we're darker complexion, we need more sunlight. Lighter complexion people need less. So you have to find out what is the proper amount for sunlight for you, okay, on a daily basis. Okay, also I understand that some of us, depending on where we live in the country or in the world, we may be suffering from what is called seasonal affective disorder, okay, because there's not a lot of sun in the area where we reside. So in order to deal with that, try to at least get bright lights in your home and have that so that you can at least get that light, and that will help you to deal with the seasonal affective disorder better, because you need to, you know, read or just be in a room where there's light for an hour or 2 today, very bright light, and that'll be helpful to you. The next letter is T. Now T is for temperance, okay, and this is very, very important. I need to tell you that temperance, according to the world's perspective, is different from temperance according to God's perspective, okay? You see, temperance according to the world says you can eat whatever you want, okay, but just in moderation, okay? But let me tell you what God's ideal of temperance is. God says eat only good things in moderation. You see, there's a difference. In other words, God wants us to abstain from all unhealthy foods and drinks, period, and only eat good things in moderation. I will elaborate on that at the next time. Moving on, the letter A. A is for air. We need to get fresh air on a daily basis. Get out in nature, breathe, inhale it, okay, and really enjoy it, especially in an environment where there are plenty of trees. Your body will benefit tremendously from fresh air. By the way, you know, you can knock out 4 of these principles all at once. You know, for example, you can get the exercise at the same time, you can get sunlight, you can get fresh air, and bring along some water. That's 4 principles that you can knock out all at the same time. Okay, moving on. R stands for rest. You need to get adequate rest. And I know that some of us are suffering from inability to sleep. We can't rest well. You know, we have insomnia. So if we apply these principles all at the same time, addressing our bodies as a whole, it will help us to be able to sleep at night. By the way, when we get sunlight, remember I said that it produces serotonin in the brain, gives you that happy feeling. Well, at night, okay, the serotonin converts into melanin, okay, or is it melatonin? Melatonin, okay, when it's time for us to go to sleep and rest. So that's an added benefit to help us sleep. Also, cut off the TV, cut off the radio, cut off the bright lights, okay, so that you can rest well. We'll talk about that more later. And the last letter is T. It's last but not least. T stands for trust in God. Now, for me, that was hard initially. And even though, yes, I believed in God, I love God, I thought I was trusting him, but really I was trusting in myself. I was trusting in men. I was trusting in the arm of flesh. But really, really trusting in God, we have to work on that. We have to pray and ask him to help us, and he will increase our faith. So talk to God. He cares about everything that you're going through. And the scripture that I find that is so beautiful and that lets me know that God is concerned about my health is 3 John verse 2. 3 John 2. It says, "Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth." So what is that telling? What does that tell you? It tells you that God is concerned about your health while he's concerned about your soul. In other words, he's concerned about you and me as a whole, not in compartments. I'm going to be praying for you, and that you will apply these principles and allow God to transform your life.